I'm on. So welcome to Ask Me Anything. This is what we do every single Thursday between 1 and 1:45. I answer your questions. I go on rants. I swear too much. And overall, I hope I deliver some value. For those that jumped on last week, thank you very much for doing so. For those that watched on replay, thanks for doing so. And you guys got a book for your troubles. So they're all in the mail for those that wanted it. So look out for your Man Up book. If you missed out on that, then you need to jump on these live because there's going to be giveaways. I'm going to be like Oprah. I'm going to be giving away stuff on a regular basis.
You look like Oprah.
Thank you, mate. Thank you for your contributions. Always welcome and always insightful. All right, beautiful. So let's jump up at the top. So Christy, you are on first, and yours is how long a gap between promos and LBEs do you have? When one ends, how long do you start advertising the next one? Anything you want to add to that, or you think that encapsulates it fairly well?
Yeah, that pretty much is, just simple questions. So I've got one at the moment that I was going to kind of end around the 31st. So just wondering, do I straight just jump on board with the next one or have a bit of a gap and kind of go from there?
Very good question. So there's a couple of different methods or approaches that you can have to this, guys. At the moment, I want new clients all the time. And I have a business development manager who will sit here very, very bored if I do not generate lots and lots of leads for him. So we have an evergreen offer. And so I'm constantly rotating out the LBEs. So an LBE is live 24/7 every single day. And there's Facebook ads. So we're never turning off the tap because we're in a growth phase at the moment. So if you want to grow and you want to grow fairly aggressively, then always have an offer and always have an add-on to support that offer. In saying that, you may work in sprints. So I have a client that likes to work in sprints. He puts an offer out for 2 weeks, goes really, really hard, and then he turns it off for 2 weeks because all he wants to do is then really onboard those people, deliver great product, great service, and he's happy to grow slower. So he's happy to grow it, he might add 10 clients a month, 5 in each one of those weeks, as opposed to me who wants 20 clients in the month as we go through. So you can work it in sprints as you go through. The other one that, I'm just going to turn someone off mute. The other way that you could do it is we have an evergreen LBE, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some special offers. And I'm going to do these special offers probably about every 4 months. So we're running our special 8-week challenge at the moment. And I'll end up doing those 8-week kickstart. We haven't called it a challenge. We'll end up doing those probably 3 times throughout the year. And that's a higher level program. And that's so we can get people spending more with us. So it's not just your kind of $197 LBE. This is going to be like a $400 LBE. So we can get more money, particularly on the front end as well. So I know I haven't given you one answer. Chrissy, I know I've given you a lot there. I think it depends. Really, this is the best way of summarizing it. It depends on the goal of your business.
Yeah.
All right. That is the best way of summarizing it. So do you want lots of clients? Have an offer all the time. Are you happy having slower growth and stickier clients? Turn it on and off. Do you want to have some offers where you just want some big influxes of cash? Then put in those special offers and litter them throughout as you go through. Is that helpful?
Yeah, and just would you, if it was where you'd have that same offer, or the evergreen offer the whole time they're adding, would you keep with that same one, or will that just kind of depend if that's working or not working? Or
yeah, great question. I'm going to give you guys some training that I did for the Game Changers yesterday, an hour really in depth on offers on Facebook in particular, and what I recommend is that you have at least 2 offers, because people will get bored of the same offer. So the same people will see it and they'll be like, oh, there's that Evo fit putting out the same offer, just quickly scan through it. So I recommend you have a couple of offers that you rotate. So it might be 2 weeks on one offer, 2 weeks on the other offer. Now, if you're targeting both males and females, you have separate ads for both. So now you have 4 offers in rotation, 2 offers, then 2 as well as you move through. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So you just want to make sure that you're always fresh in the consumer's eyes. Anita, so I can see Anita's on but not on. If you're on, turn yourself off mute, Anita. Otherwise, I'll just dive into yours. So a few people have got questions on VA, so I might group these together because I know, Matt, you had some stuff as well. Anita's, you're feeling lost with systems for the VA and the best things to use to keep her on track in one simple place.
Yes, correct.
Correct.
I've started with Trello board, but I'm not sure if that's where I want to be in long term. I've looked at Asana, I've looked at Hotspot, I've looked at a few others, but overall, I don't want to be putting money to pay into a system at the moment if I don't need to.
Yeah, which is why if you don't want to put money in and you want something really effective, use Google Docs. Like use Google Drive. Yeah, honestly, like I run my VAs all from Google. So and we have 3 VAs and I run them all from Google, and it's simple, it's cheap, it's accessible, and it works. Yeah, so I like Trello. I'm a big fan of Trello. If you guys aren't using Trello, then it's a really cool piece of software for project management and just task lists and everything else. But I think Google Docs is easier to use because it's one less piece of software that you have to learn. So I would direct you there. Gaz, do you want to add anything on that? Because I know you've got multiple VAs working for you as well.
Yeah, I use G Drive. I have switched over to Zoho One progressively because it's like they've got 40 different apps for every kind of flavor. And so we're switching all of our software over to Zoho. That also gives me the ability to have like a chat, like what's it called? Slack. I can have a task board like Trello. I can have a Google Drive in Zoho Drive. So Google Drive, I still use it for the Game Changer stuff. But for my own business, we use Zoho more and more. And the benefit of that is that it's like $40 per staff member. So I only pay for the staff that I have, and $40 a month. It was much better than even stuff like Mindbody. Like we phased Mindbody out because that was like $250 a month, and I didn't even use half of it. So that's what we've done.
Awesome. The other part you had, Anita, was Replug. I had a quick look at it. It just looks like Bitly to me. It looks essentially the same as Bitly, which is great. So you guys, if you ever create sales pages, booking links, or anything like that, the advantage of putting it in Bitly is that you can customize the link. It shortens the link, but this is the cool part, is you can actually see where the traffic is coming from. So if you just want to, one of the big problems people have is they'll send traffic to a landing page or an offer, and they'll do it on all their traffic. But how can you really determine what's effective and what's not effective? Because you're just putting it into one central pool. Where Bitly is really cool because, and it looks like your one is the same, Replug, because you can have a specific, all right, I'm going to add this as my signature on all my posts, my super signature on all my posts and emails. And then you can go, oh, wait a second, that actually drove 50 people to this offer. My Instagram link drove 20 people to this. And so you can identify which sources of traffic are better for you. So it's a cool piece of software, Anita.
Yep. Okay.
Awesome. Andrew Williams is next. He's asking about a virtual onboarding process. And so I haven't done an all virtual onboarding process, but what I would do is Elements virtual. And what I would do is create a very intuitive way of delivering the onboard via video. So if you've got some kind of LMS, that's going to help that. Or you can simply plug it into a website, WordPress website or something along those lines, or ClickFunnels or something along those lines. I would then support it with some autoresponder emails and text messages. And so you could map out the first 28 days of your clients, and we can all do this. We can map out the first 28 days of our clients. What do they need to know? What are the things they need to do? Have videos that match up, and then have emails and text messages that get dropped. This is the power of automation, guys. I'm using a lot more automation in my business in 2021. You guys want to be trying to do as little as possible when it comes to this kind of stuff. So if you can never replace the personal touch. So them getting a phone call from you every kind of 5 days, checking in and seeing how you're doing, or a personal text message, that's next level and that's what they're paying for. But at the same time, you are probably spending a lot of time doing stuff that you don't need to, that you can do once, and technology can systemize for you. And so I'm doing this a lot in my businesses right now, is I'm looking at how can I automate, and definitely part of the definitely onboarding, you want to automate as you go through. So that's how I would do it, my man. And I hope that's helpful for other people. Claire, how do you program for groups? I might open this one up and see if anyone's got any hot tips in terms of how they do their programming for groups. Just quickly, a couple of recommendations from me. In the portal, there's a programming matrix that Dr. Luke DeVecchio created. It's in the technical genius component. Very, very cool, and it'll produce some really cool programs. They are functional specific. The other thing is I get a lot of programming ideas from other gyms. So I've said this before, make sure you go and visit another gym once a month, another fitness business. It should be on your to-do list every single month. You go and visit one other place and you'll get an idea from there. And I get good programming ideas. And then you look at other people like the Nick Tominellos of the world and what they're doing in terms of programming. Does anyone have any tips for Claire on how to do programming for groups? Any systems that they're utilizing that they want to share? I know there's some great operators here running groups, so don't be shy. All right, I'm going to have to pick people out because you guys are being shy. All right, so Jenny Bell, turn away. Rob Guinea, turn away. I'm looking at you two straight away because I know you guys. Jackie Payne, turn away. I know you're driving right now. So one of you three, I've just thrown you under. You're going to have to give Claire some gold. Pressure's on. Let's go.
Okay, I'll tell you what I do.
Thanks, Jackie.
I've just stopped in the car. Okay, I'm packed. I've just changed the format of my week. So Mondays we do posture and preparation. So we'll do simple things like push-ups, sit-ups, squats, lunges, but we're looking at how our setup is. So I'm cueing them the whole time, going, okay, this is where you want to be feeling this movement. Do we need to change it? Do you need to regress to start from a push-up from the ground up? That kind of thing. So that's our first session. Everybody gets that. So it doesn't matter what's happening. Then I do boxing on Tuesday, so it's completely different. Wednesday is building strength. So we again take those basic principle movements that we did on Monday, and now we start to add in some weights, or we do the suspension straps. Actually, I did that on Monday as well, brought those into play. So Monday what I did was I did push-ups, sit-ups, lunges, very basically, and then so we did that 4 sets through of like 10s or 20s. Then the next round we did another 4 sets, but this time we changed the push-up mode. What did we do? I think we added in bands. I can't remember. And then the third set we actually partnered up. So one person was on the straps, again doing a push-up movement with the straps. The partner was doing something else, maybe a plank hold. I can't remember. And then on Friday I have another guy taking my sessions, and it's about progressing movement. So it kind of goes across the week. You're building one on top of the other. But I've got loads of plans. If you want them, I'm happy to email plans over so you get an idea. There's different ways of doing it. You can do ladders. So you can start off with 4 exercises, 1 movement per each round. The next time you do 2 movements of the same, and 3. Or it might be like a kettlebell flow. Something like you start off, you do a caterpillar, you come back up into a squat, into a lunge, back down into a push-up. So there's so many ways you can do it. You can do an mode. You can.
There's a thousand different programming times, but that's helpful, Jackie, because you theme the days, and the days kind of escalate, and that's what we do at Momentum 360, just to make it easy. Every Monday is metabolic sessions, every Tuesday is strength, every Wednesday is endurance, and then we just repeat that. So each day has a theme as you go through. Claire, I would pick some of these guys' incredible brains. They can send over templates. I can send you over ours. but also look at the programming matrix, look at some of the best in the industry, and go and visit other gyms. There's a Facebook group called Groupies, which gives a whole bunch of different ideas for sessions. Matt's written it in there as well. So there's lots and lots there for you, Claire. I'm going to keep moving because that topic we could probably speak on for hours and hours and hours. The second part is mindset hacks to feel more confident and productive. Here's the hack. Make promises to yourself and keep them. There's the hack, all right? That is confidence right there. You want more confidence? Make promises to yourself and keep them, all right? That is how we generate confidence. So feeling more productive, what puts you in your optimal state, all right? And I wrote about this a little bit yesterday. You got to look at yourself like a professional athlete. I really believe being an entrepreneur is like being a professional athlete. So what gives you the energy so you can perform like a professional athlete? Because energy is one of the most attractive things in the world, all right? And people are obviously like, you become a magnet when you've got energy. So how can you generate more energy so you can be more attractive to your prospects, your clients, and everyone around you? How can you be more confident? Every single day, make a list of promises and tick them off and keep those promises, all right? In terms of books, favorite books, in terms of just kind of confidence and productivity, Relentless by Tim Grover. If you guys just want a dose of fire, just read 5 pages of that every day, all right? He's Michael Jordan's personal trainer, and it is like you want to run through brick walls after you read that book, all right? So that's one. The other one is the 10 Times Rule by Grant Cardone. So Grant Cardone's kind of larger than life. Read 5 pages of Grant Cardone, 10 Times Rule, and again, you'll just get off your ass and you'll do whatever needs to be done to deliver a result. Does anyone else have anything different in terms of mindset hacks to feel more confident and productive? I could probably speak for about a day on this, so I've tried to do it in one sentence. Keep promises to yourself. Does anyone else have anything else? Any strategies that work particularly well? No. All right, I'm going. I'm powering through. Mark, a lot of book requests this week. Do you have any books on how to create the best client retention relationship? Yep. Never lose a client. Never lose a customer again. All right. That's the book. All right. Chris Sturgis, the pros and cons of being an outdoor solo PT versus having an indoor space with staff. Oh, this is nice because we've got a nice mix. We've got a lot of outdoor trainers here and then we have indoor. Pros and cons, and maybe you guys can contribute some as well because we've got a nice balance. So pros of being an outdoor solo PT, don't have to pay rent, all right, in most cases, unless you've got schools and community areas, but probably less rent, right? You're not answerable to a landlord, all right? So you've got more autonomy. Answerable to a council, but different again. Beautiful fresh air, vitamin D, all those amazing things, all right, as you go through. So lots of great benefits. The cons to it, seasonality, all right? So harder during winter. You want to have a wet weather option. And some people probably just prefer being indoors, all right? And some people prefer being outdoors. Having an indoor space with staff, I've owned indoor spaces for the best part of 13 years. They are amazing, but they're expensive, all right? So they cost. You not only do you have your rent, but you've got to pay GST on your rent. You've got to put a big bond up front. You've got to pay for electricity. You've got to pay for other things at times as well. It goes up every year. You've got to upgrade the facility. You've got to fit out the facility. So that is the con. The pro of it is you've got one centralized space. You don't have to transfer equipment to and from. It's set up. You've always got it. It's there. You don't have to worry about seasonality or any of those things. And you can do more within a space, I think, than you can outdoors. Like you can have consult rooms. You can have concurrent classes. You can have bathrooms, showers. So I think it lends itself to doing a few more things. So I think there's great pros and great cons for each. Did I miss any? I know Corinne, Jenny, Jackie, you do some great outdoor stuff. And then I know there's a number of facility owners here as well. What did I miss? Did I miss a big one? So Trev says, I'm a mobile PT, low overheads, minimal outlay. Don't have to worry about the seasons as you go to the client's homes. Downside, lack of equipment and weights. Yeah, I agree. I would agree with all of that. Rob, you've put your training protocol in there, which is really, really helpful as well. I'll just read that out because it's super helpful, guys, for those that are putting in training protocols. So we have 2 strength days, 2 days metabolic and 1 day crossover. Practice 1 upper body lift and 1 lower body lift every month, then test the lift at the end of the month. Example, squat and bench press. Metabolic days include circuits and sprint work, Tabatas, time circuits, AMRAPs. Throw in some boxing and KBs on Wednesday. We also test the push-up and 1-minute sit-outs with the chin-up max, knee grab as well, all the TFW stuff. Anita, community halls, cheaper but lack of equipment too. Yeah, there's pros and cons, guys. So there's always upsides and downsides. And I think it just depends on your preference, but it also depends on your client's preference as well. I own a facility, and I would say if you've got a really great, flourishing outdoor business, stay with a great outdoor flourishing business. You know, I really would. And that's as me as a facility owner. Everyone thinks owning a facility is the be all and end all. It's not. It can't. There's pros and cons to it. Yeah, it depends on your niche and what they need. I would completely agree with that. Did I miss anything, guys, on that? No. All right. Jen, any tips on creating a business name and slogan? This one really threw me. Creating a business name. Shopify's got a little bit of a tool in terms of creating a business name. So I wouldn't get too caught up on it, Jen. At the end of the day, people don't care that much about your business name. They care how much you can help them. So it will come to you. Don't push it as you go through. In terms of creating Momentum 360, what we did is we just brainstormed a number of words that encapsulated our philosophy. So that was one of the ways that we did it. In terms of the slogan, I really like using the help statement. And so the help statement, if you guys don't know it, and this will help you generate a slogan, is you go, I help, and then put your ideal clients, all right? So I help fitness business owners, and what's the one major outcome that I help them achieve? I help fitness business owners have more freedom, all right? So I help, all right, men who have back pain move freely, all right? Whatever it may be, pain-free, all right? So I would think about that I help statement. Really, all of you should know this and should be able to say it. Because when people say, what do? You say, I'm a personal trainer. I run a boot camp. No. That's what you do, but it's not actually encapsulating the impact that you're having or your how or your why. So I help. Let's everybody do it, okay? I want you guys to put it in the chat. I help, and then in brackets, your ideal client. Who's your ideal client? I help, all right, your ideal client. And what's the one major result? Or maybe you could list a couple. I help fitness business owners have more profit, freedom, and impact, all right? All right, Jenny Bell, love it. I help women get their sexy back. Beautiful. Love it. Now, whilst you guys are doing that, I'm challenging everybody to do this. So it's less of me talking. Whilst you guys are doing that, Gary Wagner has uploaded, so he's got a little gift for everyone. Gary Wagner has uploaded the 10 times rule to the Success Club files. Very cool, an abbreviated version of it. Everybody, just read 5 pages if you just want to be fired up. Gary Wagner, I help Daniel Henderson get shit done. Yes, that is hugely true. I love it. I help busy mums regain confidence through strength training. Beautiful, guys. I help 30 to 50-year-old women lose weight and become a healthier version of themselves. Great. I help mums regain confidence within themselves and love the skin they're in. Oh, this is good. This is giving me goosebumps. This is fantastic, guys. All right. I help statements. Everyone's going to have one, okay? We need to be able to say really succinctly who we help, all right, and the results, all right, and the benefits that they accomplish from doing so. So, Jim, focus on that I help statement, and that's going to be your slogan, all right, as you go through. Sarah, she's normally on. She's not on today. Does anyone invoice NDIS? Is anyone on here doing NDIS? No, doesn't look like it. Okay. I will get you some help on this one, Sarah, because I've got a client that does a ton of NDIS. Ash, how to interpret Facebook ad data to maximize spending? All right, this one's a really good one. Facebook ad data is like a minefield. So I really like, it can just be very, very overwhelming. So here's generally what I would say in terms of your Facebook ad data. If you're running a lead ad, just look at your cost per lead is your main piece of data, and we're looking at sub $30. The second piece of data that I always look at is the frequency, and that is how many times the image is turning up within a 7-day period. And I don't look at it to go above, never above 2, all right? Otherwise, I've got to change the offer, or I've got to change the image. The other thing, when you scale a Facebook ad, Ash, you've got to do so incrementally. So if you've got $40 a day and you just think you're going to double it to 80 and you'll double the amount of leads, you won't. So you've got to do it incrementally. You've got to go $40 a day, then to $50 a day, then to $60 a day. And so it's got to be really slowly measured, because otherwise you won't replicate the results. The other data that you'll see is there's relevant scores, there's cost per 1,000 and all of these. I don't look that much into that. If you're driving engagement via to a video ad, it's 15 cents per click through. If you're doing that, scale it up as you go through. So there's just some of the data. Less is more on the data as you go through. Yeah, great idea, Gary Wagner. We'll get Josh to address. NDIS. And speaking of Sarah, she's just about to jump in, which is very, very nice. Trev, you're on here. So when a lead comes into a Facebook ad, is there a way you can get a notification? So you can't get a notification, my man. What you can get is you can get an email or a text message, all right? Or you can get it delivered straight to your CRM. So I'm going to give you 3 options that you have here. Number 1, and this is pretty new of Facebook, it's only been in the last 6 months, which is pretty cool. You can plug in, and they've got probably about 200 CRMs that you can plug in. So, and Google Docs and Gmail, they include those as CRMs that you can plug in. So as soon as you get a lead, it will appear in a Google Doc file, or it will go to your Gmail, it will go to MailChimp and all these things, all right? And then they can send it to you. So that's really cool, because before they couldn't do that. So that's for free, costs you nothing, and it's very, very simple, all right? So it's in the publishing tools section. That's the first way. The second way is you get Zapier, and Zapier can send it to your email if you're not using Gmail or anything else, all right? And so it comes straight to you. The third way is you get a sales piece of software like a GemLeads, like a Zipline, like an ACR, which immediately will text it to you and it will email it to you as well. But the last 2 cost money. So they're the 3 levels, and I put them in order of price for you as well, Trev. So have a look in the publishing tools section and see whether you can just plug in a something that you're already using in there, so it doesn't cost you anything.
Awesome, thanks, Dan.
Pleasure, dude. Hey, Sarah, we missed you. We covered your question, but we're going to get Josh to cover it in depth next week on NDIS, because he's got far more experience than I do on this. Alden, you're up next, mate, and it's nice to see you on. Time management.
Yeah, bad at that.
Bad at that. All right. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the Mindset Genius component of the portal and watch Productivity Training 1, watch Productivity Training 2, and you're going to incorporate all the systems that I share in there, all right, as we go through, because there is a lot. You're going to use Pareto principle. You're going to use Parkinson's law. We're going to plan your week. We're going to plan your day. We're going to chunk your day. And we're going to use some little tactics and hacks in there. All right. You incorporate those, you will be a productivity machine.
Awesome.
Beautiful. All right, Rob, I love this question. I love this in your review, mate. Talk me through this. Prioritizing sales, marketing, and retention. This one's a goodie. So I've saved this and I want to spend a bit of time on this.
I'll set the targets from what the leads we need for conversions, basically how many members we need to get over the next 3 months. I worked out 7 leads per week. First week we blitzed it and we got 16 leads and 14 of them actually signed up to our front end offer. And then the next week I lost momentum because I was too busy onboarding all those guys. And then the next week I was still onboarding and trying to make their journey as good as it could. And then I sort of started to stress that I wasn't hitting my 7 leads a week target, but I was also focused on the fact that I need to keep these guys on board and get as many as I can to sign up from the front end offer. So it's like 1 minute I'm stressing about not getting the leads. I'm also stressing, well, how do I make these guys have the best time they can? You're just sort of juggling. Where do you put your focus? Do you just go, okay, the leads can wait for now. I've got to sign as many of these guys as I can because there's only a week left of their 4-week challenge.
Yeah.
So I think just dividing your attention when you're holding so many hats, wearing so many hats, you focus where you divide your focus. Like,
yeah, really good question. I love this question. Does anyone else have this trouble going, holy hell, like I've got to onboard clients, I've got to generate leads, I've got to, I've got to fulfill my current clients and all of this. And like, where the hell do I put my attention as I go through? So it's
Take a hat off.
Yeah. So we've got to make life easier for you. So Gary said it straight away, take a hat off. I'm very much the same. So one of the things I really struggled with in Success Club last year was any week that I was onboarding, because I was doing all the sales, all the onboarding, and then a large chunk of the fulfillment. Every time I'd had a large week where I'd say onboard 5, I couldn't sell 5 because I was so busy onboarding. So what did I do going into 2021 is I took a step back and I was like, all right, well, how can I remove one of the hats? So now I've removed my onboarding hat. So every single person on this call was onboarded by me. Now you're not onboarded by me anymore because I've created a system, and that system includes some automation, but it also includes some delegation as well. And so now I can focus more on the acquisition because I don't have to worry about the onboarding. So try to remove some of the pressure on yourself by going, all right, well, right now a bottleneck is onboarding. Does all of this manually need to be done by me? All right. So what can be again, it's the ADE process. What can be automated as part of this onboarding process? What can be delegated as part of this onboarding process? So now onboarding just isn't on me, for example, as you go through. I'm going to say something which is a little controversial, but that's okay. I don't think anyone here really needs to worry about retention. All right. Now, that's a hugely controversial statement. But when you have less than 100 members, which I believe everybody on live on here has, you don't have to worry about retention because you're inherently going to have a really good relationship with your members. They're going to know you. They're going to have been around for a really long time. Does that mean you take them for granted? Absolutely not. You deliver the best possible product experience every time, but you don't need a big retention system, okay? You don't need a huge retention system where, some of the stuff I teach to the guys that have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of members because they've got this massive churn, all right? Because everyone knows you, you know their families, you've been with them a long time, retention is inherently going to be really, really good. So focus more on the acquisition and the onboarding as you go through. Corinne, you've said you're getting stressed out trying to keep up with contacting leads. Yeah. And so again, it's like I gave the example earlier with Christy, is like you can go, all right, I'm going to go really hard on contacting leads for a couple of weeks. Then I'm going to slow down and just focus on all the ones that I've brought on board as you go through. So you can kind of work it in like sprints as you go through. Gary, do you want to add anything to this? I've got lots and lots of thoughts around this. And I'm jumping around a little bit. So do you want to tie some of this up in a knot for me?
Yeah, look, I would look at the things when you're looking to transition out, you got to let some things burn. So there's things you have to let burn. And, it's a matter of fact that it's a natural response of a business owner to try and do everything, fail miserably, and then beat yourself up about it. So there's some things you have to look at and you have to go, well, it'd be nice if I could get that done, but it's not going to happen, and be okay with that. The other thing, when you start to take off hats, I would look at the things that you can hand off fairly easily and that are probably better done by somebody else. Like for me, organic social media marketing and even Facebook ads, it's better that someone else does it day to day and I just issue the directives and adjust it as necessary. And that works much better. Our next step is recruiting coaches to take off the daily operations. And then that frees me up to move to a higher altitude as well. So you got to look at the stuff that you can hand off that will probably be done better if it's done more consistently. And that's a good place to start. And look, man, it could be if you're cleaning up the gym, it could be cleaning the gym. It could be washing your car. It could be getting your groceries delivered. It could be your social media marketing, but you got to give yourself a break, because for you to say, I need to generate 7 leads, plus I need to onboard them, plus I need to do this, that it's an unattainable goal. So that's what I would say. I don't know.
Yeah,
what else you want?
No, good, helpful. The other thing, guys, as well is we all need a lead goal every single week. Every single one should know, every single person here should reverse engineer their goals in terms of how many members they want, how much income they want, what their conversion is like from sales, and then how many leads they need to generate. And that gives us direction and that gives us focus, and we should have processes that support that outcome and goal. However, if you don't hit it, don't let that get you down. And what I would say instead is, because if you let that get you down, then you're taking energy away from your current clients, you're taking energy away from your team. So then what I would say is, if you're not hitting your lead goal, dial up your coaching, dial up the experience that your clients are getting, dial up just the amazing customer support and everything that you do, because when you do that, they're going to get better results. You're going to have more social proof. You're going to have referrals. And so that's going to look after that side as well. So, like, yes, it should provide direction, but it shouldn't be we shouldn't fluctuate as a result with those goals as well. That's all it should do, is just provide direction. Is that helpful, dude?
Yeah, it's funny because when you put it in perspective, use the ADE principle, it all makes sense. But when you're floundering at the time, you don't even think along the right line. You just think, oh shit, and just keep thinking, oh shit. Yeah. I was oh shit for about 4 months last year. I was like, oh shit, and I teach the ADE principle, and I just couldn't see it clearly. And then It wasn't until Christmas when I actually took time off. I was like, holy shit, you muppet! You teach this ADE principle and you're not following it yourself. So again, I was just like, take a step back. What can I automate? What can I delegate? What can I eliminate? And now I've actually got a whole much better infrastructure to actually grow the business as a result.
You hit the nail on the head, Rob. It's just, you got to give yourself the opportunity to step back, and that's step away from the business periodically, but also step back day to day so you can actually get a gauge of what's going on. If you're in the trenches, you just don't see it, and it happens to everyone, right? So give yourself a break, and that might be the first thing you need to do, is just go, I've got 1,000 deadlines, but I need to step out for the morning and just clear my head. And in terms of looking after your members, Dan, I guess the point you're trying to make is that sub 100 members, you tend to be a very personal business. It tends to be owner operator. You have contact with everyone, you know them intimately as a general rule. When you start to step outside that, and this is just a general rule, your retention starts to drop off because you start to get too busy and too flat out. And then you don't know your quality is dropping in a situation similar to Rob. So like I started off in boot camps, and I was running multiple boot camps around the city, and I could run 3 locations and it'd be fine. I stepped up to 5 and I didn't know whether I was coming or going, and my attendance would drop off because I was dropping the ball too much. And that was simply because I tried to stretch myself across too many locations and too many members. And it was the same thing. I had no idea what was going on because I was too busy, nose to the grindstone. So, I guess that's just to reaffirm the point that Dan was making.
Yeah, definitely with agree on that point. Corinne, you make a really good point as well. I'm saying you don't need a big retention strategy, so don't mishear me. You still deliver the world's best fucking experience, all right, to your clients. It's 9 times cheaper to hold on to a current client than it is to acquire a new client. Okay, so you've obviously got to do, absolutely keep every promise, deliver incredible results to them. But the quickest way of growing for everybody on this call and for everybody listening is not by improving your retention right now. The quickest way of growing for everyone on this call is to do more lead generation, all right, at this stage. When you get to 1,000 members, when you switch retention a couple of percent, it makes a big difference, but not at this level. My inherent assumption is you guys already have retention nailed. Awesome. Matt, you've asked about VAs. Here's my thing with VAs. Hire a VA if you want more time, okay, very, very simply, or you want them to do something that you're not currently doing, all right? So you like the idea of organic outreach, but just don't have the time for it, then hire a VA, all right, under those. They're the kind of 2 pretenses that I would hire a VA. So my VA just frees up a whole bunch of time initially for me, which was helpful, and now she's doing a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to do, but I couldn't do, all right? So I find VAs particularly helpful from customer support, but really outreach-based organic marketing, all right? So that's just some of the things. I've got a list of about 200 things they can do, but really for me, it's customer support and it's outreach marketing. And the thing is this, guys, is it's not an all or nothing. You could get a VA for 2 hours a week, all right? So you could get someone just to free up time for you, 2 hours per week. Just go on Upwork or Fiverr, and it will be the greatest $20 you spend as you go through. Laura, you've said lead generation, cold text, and time management. Time management, same as Alden. Lead generation, I know the cold text. Have a look at the 9-word email templates that I've text team templates that I've got in the portal, the 5-1-30s and the blunt posts. If you have a look at those, they are what you should use. Whew! I think I am done. That was big. That was massive. All right. Any other questions, comments, feedback? Anything else, guys? What didn't I cover that you wish I did for those that are watching now? How'd I go, Gary Wagner?
I think you went all right, Dan. You might have some sort of future in this sort of stuff, I think. Just a shout out to, sorry, I couldn't resist it. So just shout out to the Success Clubbers. If some question you go away and some question isn't quite answered, please feel free to submit follow-ups. Like follow-up questions and deepening your skill in something are always welcome. What we're going to be doing is directing you to resources more and more. So the expectation is, oh, hey, Jenny. The expectation is that when we direct you to a resource, that we want you to follow up and use it. So, we directed you to 10X abbreviation, go away and use it. The productivity resource, go away and use it, because you've got to own your business, right? You've got to own your progress. And that means when you get a resource, it's up to you to check it out. And that goes for the resources on programming that were thrown up before. Always a pleasure, Dan, always a privilege. I was able to stay for the whole call because I had an interview applicant that didn't show up, so they're not getting any work. And I'll see you next week.
Awesome. All right. Well, next week you'll have the great Josh Buss. So he will cover a lot of he'll cover the topics from a different perspective, which is always amazing. If you did miss out on that Man Up book, send admin@functionaltraininginstitute.com your name and address, and she will send one out for you. Look out for Saturday's email. Everybody on here has been really good with reviews, so thank you. You will see more resources. There's going to be some advanced Facebook ad strategies in there as well. And as Gary said, if something did not get answered that you wish it did, make sure that you let us know. But thank you to everyone that was on here. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your engagement. And have an awesome end of the week. Thanks.